Team Kong or Team Godzilla?
So like I was mentioning to you, I found out a little late that this was actually a continuation from some previous films. So I watched Kong Skull Island before I watched this one. And so I was definitely Team Kong all the way. And then, when the movie started out and Godzilla was attacking people like he wasn't before, that put me all the way into Team Kong's camp. So that's kind of where I was until they got together, and then the real threat showed up, and then I was like, I don't know who to believe. So
what about you, Peter? Were you Team Kong or Team Godzilla?
I just to answer your question straight out, it was Team Kong, and like Kev just took the words right out of my mouth. Prior to this, movie I watched Skull Island, and prior to that, I forgot. I don't know about you. I mean, depending on how well you are versed in these monster movies, I forgot. I had to go back and watch the Godzilla in line with these films.
Yeah.
And there was like two, right? Got the first one, and then King of Monsters.
And then King of the Monsters, which was King trash, by the way.
Yeah, it was too drawn. It was trash. It was way too long. It was way too long. But I guess watching Skull Island, man, I was Team Kong. I had forgotten. This is in my opinion about movies, and this goes for across the board. I think they need to be made, and I understand COVID. I guess I'll give it a pass because COVID happened. But movies should have like a at the maximum like maybe a 2-year break in the middle. I believe that you should always strike when the iron hot. I think that I'm not saying every year, because stuff happens. I guess I don't know what it takes to what it takes to make a great movie and all of these things. But I just feel as though you got to be consistent, man. Because somebody watching this, some people are watching this movie now that we're about to discuss, and they're probably just watching it for like, I didn't even know it was the other movies to this. Right?
What I mean? Yeah, that's true. And I was just telling Kev that you didn't even have to see any of the other ones before this. There weren't any real callbacks. Right. You had Millie Bobby Brown and you had her dad, which were from King of the Monsters. But I don't know if you had anything from the 2007 Godzilla that carried over to this one. And then Skull Island was just the science with like the company Apex and everything that they were doing behind the scenes to manipulate the Titans or whatever. I think that was it. And so you could miss all of that and just be ready for the fight of the century. So I was Team Kong, and it's funny because for me, this was like one of those schoolyard fights. Back in the day, you would hear so-and-so is supposed to fight so-and-so at the end of the day, and we all excited, and we rushing through classes, and we get out there, and we get all lined up around the people so that they can't break out of the circle we've created around them to fight. And I was, a scrappy little cat, and also I'm small and can't get to the front of the line to see all of the kicks and the punches and everything. This was right in your face. Like you had a front row seat for the battle of the century. And for me, this was like Tyson and Holyfield or something. So, I mean, popcorn was on deck. Apple juice was on deck. Candy was in the right hand. Man, it's just, where do we begin? Anything anybody wants to say to kick off? I got something about everything. So.
I will say I really was looking forward to them finally fighting, although I think they fought like in the middle.
It was a lot of talk.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I was, of course, I'm sure everybody was looking for the fight at the end in amongst the city, which was amazing. And even though it was like at night, you could still see what was going on, which is great.
The neon.
There's quite a few movies where you got these huge whatevers and you can't see nothing. Right. But not a problem here. So I was ready for that. Even before we had the final fight with Mechagodzilla, I was already amped because Kong and Godzilla had come to blows. So I was excited for that.
Right. I couldn't believe that it was starting off already when Godzilla all of a sudden just started swimming up And I'm like, is this gonna start? You know, by then, like you said, it had been a couple of minutes had gone by.
Right.
And they had to introduce you to Kong, and he's waking up and yawning and scratching his bum and the whole nine, you know.
Yeah.
And but the second that Godzilla swam up, you know, while Kong was on the helipad or whatever, it was on and popping. And by the way, I'm gonna just say this: I'm counting that first time that Godzilla came up from under it when Kong pounded down on the helipad and Godzilla came up and knocked everything off. Yeah. I'm counting that as an uppercut.
Oh, that was definitely an uppercut.
That was the first punch.
Definitely an uppercut. Oh yes,
yes.
It was.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Man, Pete, what you got? Give us something to go off for, you know what I mean?
I mean, you know, when I first, you know, when it popped off, it was popping off in like a T-2 days. I jumped on what was it, Facebook, you know, and social media, and I was like, you know, who you guys got. I made a prediction about the film, and you know, I was half right.
Oh,
you know, yeah, my prediction was nobody's gonna win, and they're gonna have to come together to fight a common foe. Yeah, I would expect that butt whooping though. Like, I mean, well, you know, I mean, like I said, I was Team Kong, so you know, like, but we forget about, you know, Godzilla's the infamous, you know what I mean? Just
yeah,
you know,
he's a bully. He's a bully. He's a bully, man. And the funny thing is, you got to dig this. You guys got to pay attention. Kong actually lost the whole deal.
Oh yeah.
Godzilla won the first one in the ocean easy because Kong wasn't on land. You know what I mean? He's hurling up water and the whole nine, you know, because he's like about to drown. It wasn't until they got to Hong King Kong, as I call it, where Kong brought it to the same stuff that he would do if he was in the forest, with bouncing off of buildings, like he would bounce off of trees and swinging and using all of, you know, Godzilla being in that tight, you know, predicament where he couldn't really turn around and couldn't really get him like he needed to. Kong had like Milner, like Thor's hammer, you know what I'm saying, with the axe or whatever.
Yeah, I thought about the hammer. I'm like, I've seen
this. Yes. And so he took the second round when off of the trailer, Godzilla is shooting the fire and he catches it with Milner and comes down in slow motion with that to the head like that. Yeah. And so, you know, Godzilla's pretty much out of it, and they rumble a little bit more. Then Godzilla's like knocked out into like a building or something. Well, remember, Godzilla got back up, and when he got back up, it was the bully again. And I was scared for Kong, and he sat on top of Kong's chest and just started scraping. He just started scraping, and Kong is just, and then he gets in Kong's face, and he screams, and it's almost like, tap. Do you tap? And Kong looked like, you know, you're gonna make me do this in front of millions of people watching. Tap. And so Godzilla backed off him and was like, yeah, I thought so. And so that's 2-1. Godzilla won the first one, and the third one, Kong took the second one. But then Mechagodzilla came through, and he mopped the floor with Godzilla.
No contest, man. It was crazy.
Man, Cam, did that whooping go like you thought it was going to once Mechagodzilla put them spikes up and went out there and got ready to do his thing?
Like Peter was saying, it's like you realize they're going to have to team up. They have to, especially like the minute Mechagodzilla was freed from his human whatever. Like in Pacific Rim, when he was freed from his driver. And he starts shooting like anything and everything. It's like, oh, this threat has to be contained.
Yes.
And they're going to have to put aside their differences and team up, which they did. So it was a foregone conclusion by that time. So I was ready for that to happen. But yeah, when Kong was forced to tap, I was like, no, get up, man, get up, man.
Man, you felt like one of your boys was down, man. Like
yes, I did.
You wanted to jump in there, man.
I felt bad about that one. But then when Godzilla realized that we got to work together, and then he blasted the hammer to give it power, I'm like, oh, they're finally working together. Do a team, and they did it. And but
They
see,
did
then they're not gonna like, give each other a high five.
Right.
None of
Right.
that. None of that, right? Because Godzilla, I think he's still working off his old title of King of the Monsters. He looked at him, his scream was, he turned around and laughed.
The funny thing
there was no handshake.
Right.
No, they didn't give each other a nod, none of that stuff. It's like, okay, you stay down there, you did a good thing, bye.
The funny thing with Godzilla is he's already got that face like a dragon. Right. So you're not getting no smiling like Kong smiling when he's
the only time he smiled
or whatever,
the only time he smiled was when he stand on his chest.
Yes.
He was smiling then. I'm like, can a dragon grin? Okay.
Right. So at the end, when he kind of walked past and kind of gritted on him, for a normal thing with a normal face, it wouldn't have looked that mean. But because Godzilla can't do anything but sneer, it looked like he was sizing him up again. You know what I'm saying? And
I was afraid that they were going to go at it again. Like, please don't.
I wasn't ready for it either. I wasn't ready either. I'm like, man, I can't see anymore. My heart can't take anymore.
Right.
Yeah, Lee, man.
Yeah,
5 intense rounds, man. Yeah. What were you about to say, Peter?
Nah, I was getting ready, that whole scene of Godzilla, just gaining that, that apex predator, you know what I mean? Just stand. See, he can't, he's not like Kong, and that's one of the reasons why I do like Kong is because, he got that, that what do they call that, cognizant, but he'll stand on your chest and beat his own.
He got that swag, like, what I mean?
And he'll exert his dominance on you. You know what I mean? Godzilla ain't had that. God just beat you up and looked at you, but he did like he looked at him in his face. It was like, son, I'm here now. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to tell you, man, you need to know I'm the one to be worried about. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? That did. And you know what I mean? Like for me, that scene was kind of, it was, it was triumphant, but it was also kind of sad, because if you see Kong, it's like, I gotta take this L. But I did appreciate that scene. And like Kev said, I mean, you really can't, I mean, I guess the dragon can't grin, man. It's like,
I'm like, man, he is a bully, man. But then we also got the quick little skirmish with Kong with the war bats. Where it was 2 of them going against him at the same time. That he had to pop that jawbone like you pop like a crab leg, and then hit it for the juice. And I'm like,
that was a whole lot. I mean, fine, it's big monsters. They're gonna fight. There's gonna be violence, but I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for him to rip the head off and drink the blood. I wasn't ready for that. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, Kong. Hold on a minute. Plus, when Mechagodzilla like first came online and he was fighting those creatures that I think were introduced in Kong Skull Island, those lizards with only 2 legs and a tail, or something. It was some kind of lizard, and then he like slit the thing from top to bottom. I'm like, whoa, wait. I was not ready for that.
Seriously.
It was serious. It's like we're not playing here. So that's why I was all the more I was so excited when they finally brought that 3-way fight. Or really the 2-on-1 fight between the 3 of them. Because I knew by then every one of these creatures is serious. So there's gonna be a serious brawl.
Yeah. Right. It was really, really, really real. Hong Kong stepped it up big because it was already wild when they were out in the ocean. But you already knew that Kong couldn't do too much. And I hated that. I'm sure y'all hated seeing him underwater flailing instead of fighting. And then he would get a headbutt off, or he would kick him. But he's like trying to get up and get air. And it's like, this is one-sided, Yeah,
right.
So you knew the next time that it happened, the producers were going to have to even the odds somehow. And when they got to Hong Kong and got across from each other, and started circling each other, I'm like, yo. And the neon lights got the whole, Pacific Rim thing.
Yeah.
And they went at it and they're punching and kicking, and King Kong put his face and put Godzilla's face on his knee. And I'm like, yo, they rumbling like people rumble. Oh man. What did y'all think about Hollow Earth by itself? The technology, those vehicles, what were they? The HEAV, HEAV or something, the hovercraft things. Heave, that's right. Yeah.
It was nice that they actually got a use out of it beyond, okay, it's a spaceship, when it was necessary for Kong's heart to be revived. That was I was glad they were able to use it.
Really.
So that was nice.
It really was. Yeah, because I'm like, what is Skarsgård gonna do? Because he landed it right on his chest. And I don't know if he's just gonna get out and try to help him or what. And he set off a jolt and he jumped out. And Kong was like, yo, what city am I at? What's I'm rumbling, all right. And he got ready to get back to Godzilla, and the little girl, little Gia. Gia, by the way, was like the best human in the whole movie without uttering one syllable.
Definitely.
But little Gia was like, whoa, he ain't the one. Yo, he cool. Cuz over there, you know what I'm saying? Right. And God, King Kong looked at her and looked at Godzilla and looked at her like, yo, you ain't never lied to me before.
Right.
All right.
Like, are you for real right now?
Right. And she's like,
he just beat me. He just embarrassed me. And now we gotta be friends. Are you serious right now? I don't know.
Right. Yes. But when he looked over there and saw Godzilla and Mecha, Godzilla was getting cleaned up. I'm talking about washed. Washed.
Oh yeah.
He was getting washed. And I was like, yo, Kong, you got to get over there fast. And they didn't have it where Kong got over there and got straight up in him and the whole nine. He took some lumps then too.
Right.
And then that's when Godzilla had to see, he's fighting with me. And okay, we can do this, And like you said, Kev, when he shot that fire into Milner or whatever, I got to stop calling him Milner. Man, I'm like, oh my gosh.
It was good. It was some good stuff. Oh, but see, so we're talking about the young lady who didn't speak, but I mean, Kong ain't talking either, and he had some emotions, and it's like, I know what he even when he's not like signing, it's like, wait a minute. It was very interesting that you could tell the special effects were fantastic, and that you could tell what Kong was thinking.
Yeah,
he ain't said a word.
Right.
You could tell what he was feeling. And great job.
Yeah, certainly. So you also had Damian Bashir as the bad guy, I guess. But the best thing that he did was die when Mechagodzilla snuck up behind him while he's doing all this talking. It was just funny though how he told Mr. Serizawa, because Mr. Serizawa didn't want to get into the think tank or whatever to get him going for whatever reason. He was having second thoughts or something. Right. And Damian Bashir was like, get in the damn chair. Right. And I'm like,
well, that was the end right there. I mean, this movie, there were some characters that you just know were marked for death. And that he signed his death warrant right then. And also like discount Jessica Alba.
Oh God!
I'm like, she's not gonna make it through this movie. And the thing is, see that would be my one gripe with the movie. Like, why was she there?
Yeah, true.
I did not see what she added. Because even like what she was doing, representing Apex and being all arrogant and stuff.
Really arrogant.
I don't know why she was there. And so I'm like, okay, she's not gonna make it. I'm surprised that she made it all the way to Middle Earth, Hollow Earth. I'm surprised she made it all that far, but I'm like, she ain't making it out. And she didn't. Right. I'm like, okay, but I didn't know why she was there.
And the way that she was killed,
why is she here?
Kong caught the little helicopter crab and just popped it. And I'm like,
all right. Okay.
I'm like, yo, really?
So that was her I forgot his name, the character, the villain, I guess. That was her father, please.
Her father was involved in something because she mentioned it. Like, all right, okay, so you give me all these reasons why I don't like you because you come in rude, you come in arrogant, you talk about your father. All right, I get it.
Yeah, and talking about all of the technology, we got these hovercrafts called heaves, and you know they can propel us, and
it's just like too much. Like she's doing so much that I feel like they want me to hate her so I can be glad when she dies. But I really was just like, she's in the way, move along.
Yeah.
Because at the time when she's doing all these things, there were interesting things happening, and I didn't really care to turn the focus on this woman who's just, I don't know, just being mean to people when we have plot going on. We have all this peril. We got the relationship between the little girl and the giant ape. I'm like, and she's calling it a monkey like I'm supposed to care.
Monkey.
Anything. I'm like, I don't care that you call him a monkey. I don't care. Move along, please.
Right. Yeah.
She called him a monkey like 4 times. I'm like, okay, I get it. You think he's a monkey, so you don't care or something. But see, that didn't match to me because she's one of the first ones to notice. When Kong and the girl started signing, she said, "Did the monkey talk?" Now, if you want me to hate her because she hates the monkey, why did she notice that? See,
exactly.
That gives her some kind of empathy that the rest of her character doesn't really have. So it's not working that she's the one saying, "Did the monkey just talk?" She's not supposed to care because she's a mean person. So what you dropped it right there. So that's when I stopped caring about it, because it's like even her characterization wasn't really that consistent. So
yes, good point. Yeah, because I would have even expected Alexander Skarsgård's character to be the first to say.
Why did he say that?
Said something. Yeah. Instead, he was reacting to her saying it like,
like, nah, y'all. Do a rewrite on that script, but it's fine.
So Peter, what did you think about Brian Tyree Henry?
Now you gotta hold up. Now you gotta. Was that the black dude?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I got. I ain't really versed in everybody's name because
I
want to say he's kind of fairly new, right, so to speak. He was
Atlanta.
Okay. Yes. He was in that. Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah.
Widows.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I do recognize when I was watching it, I did recognize his face. I don't know. I like this character. It was he added to the. He definitely.
I think he did.
Yeah, I mean, the whole kooky paranoia, conspiracy theorist. He ran with it. He was also intelligent too. I mean, you had him, sneaking in the labs and knowing the things that he did. So I'm gonna give him his character. He was cool. I appreciated his character. He got them into he got him into the depths of the whole organizations and all of that. So I liked him. I give him a stamp of approval. I didn't have a problem with him.
Yeah, his podcast had like 250 episodes, 240 or something. So he been doing it for a minute. What'd you think about him, Kev?
I didn't have a huge problem. I mean, black folk being weird and paranoid. I mean, I know we do it, so it's like, here we go. So that was kind of funny. It was all right. It reminded me a little bit of Lil Rel's character from Get Out, but just turned up the paranoia down a lot. Which fine,
a lot, a whole lot.
I didn't think he was gonna make it through the movie, but he made it. Yes. So that was I'm glad he did. But it was fine.
They gave him a line that I think still was the deepest line in the whole movie, and it had nothing to do with the monsters. His wife had given him that little flask that had the liquor or whatever, and it was like in a gun holster. And at some point, Julian Dennison, Millie Bobby Brown's little friend, she asked him. He asked him something about the flask. And he was like, well, you don't have to worry about me because, to put it honest with you, the day that this flask goes empty is the day that you can say that I've really given up on life or whatever. And I thought that was a powerful statement because he's basically saying something that could be harming him. In that case, alcohol is the one thing that's keeping him here after losing his wife and after all that he was going through. And so I said, man, that's a meaty line to give, just in the middle of a movie like this.
Yeah, what I appreciate was that, he was a pretty deep character because he wasn't just paranoid. He wasn't just nerdy. I mean, he had this side to him that was, as we were saying, only in the movie like for a few moments.
Yeah,
but it was still he's still pretty well rounded for someone who's most of what he's doing is for laughs.
If there was any actor who could carry that type of character, because we've seen it in all of these types of movies, where somebody who's actually the smartest person in the room, but they come off as the weirdest or the dumbest or the goofiest or whatever else. He even did good with that. So he's another one of those guys that's just, his trajectory in Hollywood is just up. But I thought that it was a little bit weird to have him handcuffed to Millie Bobby Brown and Julian Dennison, because it's almost like your babysitter and the two kids he's watching running around getting into little side little things. And I don't even think what they did was enough to call like a whole, separate plot outside of everything else that was going on. It was just when you needed something to laugh at, it would bounce back to them. But I wish maybe they would have had a chance to press a button at least or something at the very end that would have caused something big. And instead, I think that the payday that they gave them or the reward was just, hey, Brian Tyree Henry is not crazy. Look, everything that he was saying in his podcast is really happening.
Right.
But I'm like, we lost a lot of time between seeing the fights and seeing the creatures by going back to this little group of misfits running around and hiding and everything. And, that was one thing that pulled a little bit, not enough to really disrupt anything, because with something like this, you got to take everything that you get with a grain of salt, because it's all about the two knocking heads. Right. And everything else is just, I like to joke and say this real quick and I'll hand it off. If anything would have happened with the audio so that none of the humans would have been heard, like every time they talk their dialogue, it's like garble, it still would have been a good movie. So I guess that says something about the either the acting or just the need of them being there at all. But everything that they said at the most gave a couple of chuckles here and there and a lot of exposition. And then it's like, can we just see the fight? Okay, all right, I got that. Enough of that,
Yeah.
Anything else that anybody liked or anything else that you didn't like? Because I'm sure, even though this was a popcorn type thing, it wasn't flawless. Was there anything that you tweak or anything that, just kind of stuck out there?
Well, I will say, I agree with you that the two younger characters, I don't know why they were there. They didn't accomplish much. And Millie Bobby Brown's friend, I mean, okay, so he was, I guess, the comic relief, I guess, but the Bernie character, he already was goofy,
right?
So it's like, now we got two goofy characters, all right?
Yeah.
Why do we have two when we could? I think Bernie's, his part could have been just only him. Mm-hmm. Everything that was done, including his podcast, it would have been fine if it were only him and not the two junior sidekicks. I did not see what they added. I didn't see what they accomplished, other than, I don't know, like Millie Bobby Brown, she was separated from Dad for a while, and then he came back. But I didn't have any stake in that, because they were already on pretty good terms. Mm-hmm. So it didn't add anything to me when at the end, when they finally met up and she's calling out to him, Dad. Okay, yes, it was a family reunion, but I mean, they weren't apart for that long, and they were on pretty good terms before, so it did. Yeah, I mean, you're right, and they pressed a few buttons, but it was just for the elevator to go down. So like, I didn't see the use in this. I don't know what they added to the film, so that would be my one of my complaints. I already complained about the other antagonist who was here and then gone. But something I really did like was the music and the sound design, especially when Kong was fighting Godzilla at sea. Mm-hmm. And especially when he'd like fall into the water and then the sound would go out, because that's what it's like when you put your head underwater. The sound like I loved it.
Yes.
I did like the camera work when they reached Hollow Earth. That was
certainly
crazy and
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah,
and
when
I
it went through the
loved
warp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the warp and upside down and then right side up again, and then gravity's going two different directions. I loved it.
Yes.
So I really enjoyed the camera work at that part in the movie.
And just to add the sound design for when Kong was approaching Gia to let you know that she was deaf, the camera went right up to her ear and then dropped all the sound. Oh, yeah. And it had already shown you in the movie that when he walks, it sounds like the end of the world or something. So for him to be that close to her and you can't hear anything, you say, oh, she must be deaf. Then she started signing and you're like, okay, that was a nice little move with the sound design, you know?
I agree with you guys. I didn't, when you guys were talking about the three characters, the two junior, as Kev said, the two junior sidekicks. I could, I don't know, for some reason with me, I could see maybe, I don't know her name. She was 11, right? And
in Stranger Things.
Thank you. The Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So I could see her and him together.
Yeah.
But as far as I guess her like what was his name? The other kid, her friend.
Yeah.
I
don't remember his name, but his real name is Julian Dennison.
Okay, Julia. Then I didn't really see room for him, and because you can say her, because her father was who he was, right? So he was connected into this whole thing. So I can see that, but his character, like Kev said, I guess it was for comedy. I really didn't, I don't know. I didn't. That was really enjoyable. But the what I did, like Kevin taking everything that I wanted to say, the Center Earth, what was it called?
Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth. Okay.
Yeah.
Got to be on some Lord of the Rings type stuff.
Middle Earth.
Yeah. No, I think that the visuals were definitely something to behold. With the whole conception of upside down, right? That was dope. That really was. I mean, when he touched the rocks and gravity went that way, it was kind of crazy.
Oh, that was crazy seeing Kong that big floating. Yeah. Oh man,
it was dope.
How did you all feel when Kong took his throne?
Oh,
and just sat back on the throne and had Milner to the side and was just looking like yo,
y'all know what it is. Take the prison.
Know what I mean?
Oh. It reminded me of Game of Thrones. It's like, all hail the king. But
yes.
There's nobody there. But still.
Speaking of which, why I don't know, as far as when he went quote unquote home, who built that?
That was my question.
Who built it? Who you saw bones on the ground? I'm guessing that was his. I don't know. I was kind of confused.
Yeah, something about his ancestors because the Godzilla and the Kong species have been going at war, and I hope when they make a sequel, because this has made so much of this that the machine is gonna spit something out for us in another year or two. I hope that they explore that building that you all are talking about, as well as the bones, as well as maybe show us some of that war.
Yeah,
because I bet that's explosive.
I definitely would like to see that.
And the whole fact that he took Milner and I gotta stop and laid it down on the ground and started charging it for the first time, and it made the shape of a dragon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like,
wait a minute, what does that mean?
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
Yeah.
But is it just me, or does Alexander Skarsgård in this either remind you or look a bit like Bill Pullman? Maybe it was just me.
I love it.
Yeah, every time that he would turn and would say something and all, I'm like, is this Lake Placid or
Independence Day?
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh man. Yeah. But So as far as it goes, the script, as we say, could have been thrown out.
Mhm.
The script does include the fighting and the choreography and everything, so that part is wonderful. But all of the dialogue is just crud. The directing was very good because look at what it brought us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the acting was horrible for the most part. As far as rewatchability, I think we all can say the same thing. Or I at least know this is going in the library because what I think they're going to do after this would make this more and more of a classic as time goes, further on. And so I'm going to be coming back and revisiting this often. And for my X factor, I think would be just the anticipation and having it actually pay off. I've heard so many people that I've asked since I saw this say, yo, they were fighting. I mean, really going hard. And that's all we really wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with all of it, I would have to give it on a 1 to 10. I'm leaning more towards like an 8 or an 8.5. Or on the We Saw That scale, I think I would say we liked it. What did you think about it, Kev?
On that scale, I would say we liked it. Solid, we liked it. The part that I really enjoyed, of course, was the fighting.
Yeah,
it was great. It was great. I agree with you that I could have left out several of the human characters. I don't know if they added.
Yeah.
Several could have left them out. But like I said, like sound design. Really like special effects. I like the fighting.
Yes.
So 1 to 10, I'd give it 1 to 10, I'd give it an 8.
Gotcha. Serve it up, Peter. What's good?
I guess it's unanimous, man. It definitely it's going in the books. So overall I would give it about a 7.5, 8. Like Kev said, I mean, what the CGI was top tier. They didn't. I mean, visually, they did to me, they didn't spare no expense on the CGI aspect of it.
Yes.
Like you said it too. I mean, the acting was. I mean, it was what it was. The headliner of the movie was, Godzilla vs. Kong. Come on, like that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see a brawl. And I will go as far as saying I would have liked it to be a little bit more drawn out with the fighting.
Okay.
I mean, it gave us what it gave us, and I understand, it's everything, and to making a movie at a time, do all these things. But I would even go as far as say that I would love to see like maybe a director's cut if there is one, as far as more fighting if it was. That was scrapped maybe. I mean, I love the when he went home. The visual effects were dope. I mean, something out of like a child's dream, maybe. It was cool. I give it like a 7.5.
That's cool. That's cool. Ladies and gentlemen, what did you think? How do you think this situation is going to go moving forward? Are they going to explore King Kong being able to speak sign language? Are they going to bring better actors and actresses into the whole thing? Are they going to give us more fights or have them more extended? Whose side were you on? Were you Team Kong or King Godzilla? Let us know, let us know, let us know. Please smash that like button if you didn't on the way in the door. Make sure that you subscribed if you haven't already. And until then, we will see you next time.
Shoot. Where'd you go?
Uh-oh.